things are not going to go the way that they are in your mind. They're just not. Dude, your emotions are going to get in the way. Life is going to get in the way. Health. I mean, there's so many different things that are going to get in your way, but just don't stop. Don't fucking stop. Because then one day you'll be here with us, hanging out in this fucking penthouse, baby. Let's go.
Welcome to the Partners Podcast, where you get exclusive behind-the-scenes access to entrepreneurs who are relentlessly building real, profitable companies. Join us as we ask them the hard questions so you can take away the mindset, strategy, and tactics that launch them to success.
Welcome to another episode of the Partners Podcast, joined by my business partner, Anthony Olvera of Outsource Plug, of Apex Operations, and soon to be one of my partners on one of my new ventures. That's going to be a secret until the next episode. But without further ado, Anthony, how do you like it out here in Medellín, Colombia?
Man, I've been here a week, and I can tell you it's been a life-changing experience, and I just want to thank you for inviting me out. And, you know, I know that you've been trying to get me out here for like the last 2 years. And I'm glad that I finally pulled the trigger and came. You know, it's something that I feel like I needed. And this city, you know, what I've been learning about this city, man, is that if you let it, it will let you hit rock bottom. However, on the contrary, it can take you sky high as well. Yeah.
The city will eat you up if you get into the wrong things, for sure. It's definitely known as a party city. You know, beautiful women out here. There's drugs. But there's also what you got to experience, the entrepreneurs and business owners out here hustling on their grind, in their bubble of like, you know, hustle and taking care of themselves.
Yeah, well, I feel very fortunate that, you know, I get to come here with you. If I came here by myself, it'd be a completely different experience. And I just remember like when I got here, the first thing I saw was the amazing view from your penthouse. And just the view alone is just inspiring. I think views do something for you. I don't know what it is internally. I don't know if it's like some sort of connection that we have to the earth that just inspires us and makes us think on a whole nother level. But your thinking is literally elevated when you are elevated physically.
Yeah. It's crazy because I didn't really get it until I was at John Zhao's penthouse in Chicago. And he's just like, hey, dude, when I'm up here, I just think bigger. Because you see the cars, you see like the people, and everything's tiny, and it just gives you perspective. Like, hey, none of this is, you know, really that big of a deal. Like any problem I'm facing, I'm sure that person on the street's dealing with money problems. You know, his daughter could be sick. Like you don't even know. Like everyone has their problems, and I think it's like an extreme example is like when you go to space for the first time, which I know not too many humans can do, but when you go to space, you really see the world as it is, and you're like, hey, we're nobody. We're just a speck on this dust particle floating in this giant universe, and our problems aren't really that big of a deal, and everything will pass.
Well, you know, if I'd like to, you know, if there's like a theme for this podcast, man, I'd really like it to be more inspirational, because since I've been here, you know, there's obviously like, you know, there's really rich people here, like everywhere else in the world. You see Mercedes and penthouses and, you know, really nice things. I mean, the malls here like completely blow the USA malls out of the water. Like there's no competition, but you also see extreme poverty, right? And I feel very humble having the opportunity to be here, right? Because, you know, I grew up in Eastside San Jose, single mother home, right? You know, at some points we lived in, you know, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments, 1 family per home. Like life was not easy. And just the fact that like I get to be here and experience this just is very humbling for me, right? Yeah. And I try not to forget that, like as we're grinding, and also like, you know, I'm meeting local people here who I find myself like, you know, they're interested in, you know, me as an entrepreneur, learning about business, and I find myself giving advice, and I'm like, man, Brendan gives me the same exact advice, but like I don't understand it as much until I teach somebody else, and then I'm like, this is what Brendan's been telling me this whole time.
Yeah, and that's I'm a little bit under the weather, as you guys can tell, but still gonna power through this because that's what entrepreneurs do, right?
That's right.
So I agree, because the best time I'm learning and growing is when I'm teaching, and it's reinforcing some of these basics and fundamentals, right? That we sometimes take for granted, and we think the elevated situation of, what being a business owner and entrepreneur is to have everyone else take care of it. But I think the magic is in doing the work and leading by example, and actually showing your team how it's done.
Yeah.
Because I think most young entrepreneurs, including myself, time and time again, we make it big, kind of relatively to where we started for the first time.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden we think we know it all. And then that's when we hit our Icarus moment where we fly too close to the sun, because, and you've done it, I've overhired, I've committed to, clients, I've overextended myself in obligations. And I still do that because, it's layers, right? Like every time I grow, I'm like, okay, I can take on 5 times as much because I have this team in place. And then I try to take on, 8 times as much as my team can take on, which is 5 times as much. And then all of a sudden I'm like, dude, I am drowning in opportunities and work, which isn't necessarily a bad thing if it's more work. But sometimes it goes the other way where, as we grew, I think you and I can both relate. We were like, all right, this shit's working. Let's just keep throwing money at it.
Yeah.
And we were throwing money at our business like nothing can go wrong.
And
right?
things always go wrong.
And that's when your shit explodes, right? Like if you become, even the U.S. government, as beautiful of a country as America is still in massive deficit, is extremely inefficient. And that's what happens when you kind of get handed all this opportunity and money and you don't take care of the business truly.
Complacency.
Yeah. And that will eat you alive unless you're the U.S. government, where you can, you have your giant Navy and military to fortify of like, no, we're not paying our debt yet. We're going to extend it till 10 years out.
Yeah, unfortunately for us, they could just go straight into our bank accounts.
Yeah.
Man. So I think when you're talking about this, right? Like I think you've said this multiple times since I've been here in Medellín, but and everybody knows the saying, the grass is always greener on the other side. However, you keep saying
the grass is greener where you water it. Because I have a lot of people that I mentor, I consult. They're always looking at new opportunities and this and that. And the theme for all of my businesses, and including our business, Outsource Plug, is like, dude, are we even taking care of what's in our backyard?
Right.
Like, are we watering, our literally lawn that's like we can walk out to every day? Versus, everyone's always looking at other people's companies like, oh, wow, your lawn's so green. It's just like, yeah, but they actually water and fertilize it and nourish it every day. And did you know their lawn actually died 5 times over, and now they finally understand what it's like to take care of their own lawn?
Yeah. You know what? For you guys who are watching, like, you guys, some of you might be kind of bored of your businesses, and I completely understand, especially if you're like me, you have ADHD, and it's something that. It's something that like I get it. It's hard to focus. I remember I called Brandon and I was like, "Hey, dude, I got a job," and he was like, "What? Like you got a job?" And I was like, "Yeah, man. Like I just couldn't focus on Outsource Plug anymore, and I just felt really lost. Like Outsource Plug is a completely remote company. Brendan's no longer in the Bay Area, and I have no employees locally, and I was getting kind of sad. And I was like, I think I'm just gonna go get a job and." And ultimately, I was going to start a second business anyway. So long story short, I thought I was going to start a commercial insurance agency selling, workers' compensation, stuff like that. I thought it'd be a really good add-on to Outsource Plug. Boring as hell, yeah. But what happened was, I actually I got licensed, and what's crazy? Like I've never like passed a test like that. So passing a California state exam was like a big boost for me, like internally, because I suck at school, and like I had to go to like school and do everything, and I accomplished something that I suck at. And even though it was like a complete distraction from Outsource Plug, that gave me a boost, which, I don't encourage you to do the same thing. But if you're like completely down, like you have this business that's functioning and it's maintaining, which realistically, there's no such thing as maintenance. You're either growing or you're dying.
Yeah, there's either natural decay or natural growth if you put the right things in place.
So, So yeah, I went and got that license, and when I was looking for a job, because you have to have like 2 to 3 years of experience with the broker before you can go off on your own. So I was looking for a job. Nobody, either they didn't want me because I was an entrepreneur, and those are the companies that I really wanted to work at. And then all the other companies, they just didn't have good situations. I was like, I feel like I'm more successful than you. And I haven't even gotten started, right? But what happened was I ended up running into a construction company, and long story short, the interview turned into a consultation. The husband wants to build commercial construction. The wife wants to do high-end residential. I don't know anything about construction, but I know how to get them where they need to go. So they basically hired me. They would have had to hire an agency or 4 or 5 people to do what I did. And they thought I was going to take like 6 to 9 months. And, I remember that time my girl, she was like, hey, Anthony, when you go work, you work slow. And I remember I told her, I was like, I don't work for them. I work for God. Like, I'm going to perform how I feel like performing. And if I'm motivated and I'm going to bust my ass, like, that's just the entrepreneur in me. And yeah, I got everything done within 2 months. And they were like, holy shit, like, you did the website, you shot all of our projects, like photo, video, you're getting social media done. Like, I went ham. And what happened was that what was very unexpected was, for those of you who don't know, like, if you go to a construction site, it's really normal to have, 4 to 6 companies there at a time. The drywall people, the painters, the floor people, the HVAC, this, that, the other. And what happened was people started noticing the work, right? And if you guys know anything about me, you know that I helped grow Aerial Canvas, I helped grow Aerial Canvas. And so the photography, video background, got it all. We staff all of the Aerial Canvas editors and photo editors, so I already knew everything, and it was just doing it. So what would happen was I would produce really good video, photo, and then the website looked great, and people started asking, like, can you do it for me? Can you do it for me?
Oh yeah.
And then,
how important is media to making a website look next level?
What's crazy about that? We build on a platform that doesn't have all the bells and whistles like WordPress. Our platform is built, it's called Duda. We white label it as an agency. And it's not built to be the most beautiful bells and whistles website. Like, it's a fast website that ranks really well on Google. And I'll tell you, there's not a lot of special effects that happen on those websites, which makes it hard to look sexy. But the way that we shoot the photo and video changes the game for everything. If you are building a website and you are not getting professional photography, professional video, you're actually like shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah. How much, like, best website you think visually without photo and video versus with custom photo and video? Like, is it going from like a 5 to a 9? Like, what would you rank a website that doesn't have custom content?
Well, here's the thing, right? So when it comes to like actual web design, people think about it backwards. Like, as an agency, when we're working with people now, we're showing them the desktop version. And that's more for them and them personally. But as an agency, we know that actually doesn't matter because 70% of traffic is going to be on mobile anyway. And if you look at mobile websites, the difference between the design is actually like hardly anything. And what is on the website though that people are going to see is the photography and the video. Right. And realistically, the way that I look at it is, you can drive as much traffic. You can drive traffic to the website, but if you don't have nice photo, nice video, it's not going to convert.
Yeah.
And that's just it. And especially when you're dealing with extremely high ticket things like construction. So if you're somebody who does like $1 million plus projects, and in this case, the company that I work with, they're doing they can do up to $30 million for one project is what their bank loans allow them. And
whoever's investing with them want to see like a legit team. Obviously, some people can visit them in person and see their team.
Yeah.
But there's investors, developers that are out of state or out of the country that they might be investing in a new property, and if they see a legit website with an actual construction company and logos and hats and all the safety equipment actually doing the work versus hey, this is our final product. It's like, are you legit though?
So I actually came up with an analogy, and I'll give it to you guys because maybe this will help you guys sell your products as well. Because I'll tell you, every construction company that I talk to gets this analogy and they love it. So the analogy goes like this: let's say that you are a female and you had 2 guys in front of you. Both guys are absolutely perfect for you, like perfect height, perfect the way that they dress, the hair. Like on any single day, you would say yes to either one of these men marrying you. Any day. But today, one of them rolled up in a 1999 bucket Honda Civic and the other one rolled up in a Ferrari. Which one are you choosing? It's obvious. And the thing is that when somebody who has a $5 million budget for construction and they go ask for referrals, this is what's happening. These people who play at that level get the referrals, and it's like, I know that both of you guys can do the job because everybody vouches for you, but this guy has a Ferrari and you have a Honda. Unfortunately, I'm not going to choose the Honda, right? I need to, not only do I feel good about it, I can see.
Yeah.
Right. I can see the portfolio, which is why like the media, man, it's extremely powerful. It's extremely powerful. And there's no construction company there's no excuse to not have a really nice website and be invested into projects. And I'm just going to say this for for construction companies, because there's some for example, I only do the tile. I only do the drywall. I only do the paint or whatever. It's not, see, the thing is that I've met so many construction guys who are like, I worked on, Tim Cook's house. I worked on Steph Curry's house. I worked on all these houses. Well, nobody can see the caliber that you are qualified to work at unless you start putting together this portfolio meaningfully.
It really reminds me of the value of branding and marketing, because I have experienced it firsthand. I've been told, like, while I aerial canvas from some of the top producing agents, they're like, well, you guys are like, the Apple or the Tesla of real estate. And I'm just like, nice. I mean, we have that brand association for that quality of execution and consistency. That's amazing. Today, I got a message from a prospect, another agency owner, real estate media agency owner in the space. And he's just like, hey, I just did a demo with this other company. Let's just call them reps, agency like support or rep agency consulting. I don't want to out them. And they're like, but you're the gold standard of this industry. So I want to know your opinion on whether or not I should go with them, because I'm pretty sold on what they have to offer, but I want to talk to you first and see what you have to offer. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So he literally used the word, and I can pull it up on my phone, but hopefully you guys trust me if you're watching this episode. He's like, you are the gold standard of this industry. And I'm like, damn, I did put a lot of work into my video editing, my branding, like the late nights on, tweaking my website, moving a couple pixels, moving a button, improving the flow. And all that adds up into a perception of going from, hey, you're just an average company, or you're just a mom and pop, to you being seen as the Apple, as the Tesla, as the gold standard of an industry.
Well, I mean, not just that, man, but you keep everybody accountable. And I'll give you guys an example. We had a really rough December at Outsource Plug, and when our clients have rough times, so do we, right? And, coming into January, a lot of clients paid their bills late, and pretty much employees got paid on time, but then like our affiliates and other people who make commission got paid late. And I remember Brendan calling me like, dude, you're like messing with my reputation right now, bro, because you haven't paid the people that, that I connected to you to refer you. And next time you need to call me and I'll literally let you borrow the money, but don't fuck up my reputation. And I know that's just with me. And I know that you have other partners as well who, you rely on to keep your good name and keep that gold standard, right? All throughout the entire organization, right? So you're keeping everybody accountable. But I think that's a big part of it. Like you
appreciate it.
You care deeply enough to, fucking scold me. I could just.
Well, here's the thing. I'm Asian, so I just understand math. Reputation, 80%. Revenue, 80%. Right?
Yeah.
I need my reputation to be at 100, so I'm not taking a negative multiplier on the business and all the work I do, because I've seen how much a negative reputation has hurt people. Yeah. There are some amazing people in this industry, real estate media. I don't want to get too personal, but they, in my opinion, are the best in this industry. But because they wronged a couple people, they have such a drag coefficient that is going against them on all their efforts, because there's always someone working against them. And don't get me wrong, I think everyone at a high level has their fair share of haters. Like,
Sure.
I think if you don't have haters, you're just not big enough. That's the thing, right?
True, yeah,
Because
yeah.
like the biggest people, the most successful people, the most loved people, have haters.
Yeah.
In many ways, I don't want to get political, but Elon Musk is, in some people's eyes, like I love Elon Musk. He's amazing.
So do I.
Yeah.
Just
And
to
then
be clear.
there's definitely a fair share of the population that hate what he stands for and what he's doing and thinks he's, a Nazi just because he accidentally, gave one of these to the audience the wrong direction,
Yeah,
he's
I
a
mean,
little
well,
autistic. I'm just
yeah.
gonna call him. He's like, dude, he's a little autistic. He's like, oh shit,
Sure,
wow.
yeah. I mean,
So-
I just, it's crazy that people like, will turn into criminals, like Nazis themselves,
Yeah.
and start violating other people's property. Like that's insane. to me.
Yeah,
That's
the
insane.
hypocrisy of people that are casting judgment, and that's like something that's just that has always been interesting to me, and that's why I follow the principle of like try to kill them with kindness,
Yeah.
because like an eye for an eye, dude, everyone's losing and everyone's wrong. At the end of the day, like how are you gonna stop hate with more hate of the other party that is hating, and then you're hating them, and then it's just a hate fest. You got to kill them with kindness.
Yeah, you know what, man? I'm just gonna say this since we're on this podcast. Look, I think that for those, especially if you're watching this, you're very likely to be positioned in a good place if you're seeking this knowledge and you're following ACRE Partner, Outsource Plug, or any of our companies. I think that we're about to head into like the actual best time of our lives that we will ever have. I think that like what people were experiencing before 2008, especially like people who were in real estate and were slanging houses like they were freaking ice creams on the on a hot day. Like that's literally what it was like, right? Like I know so many people who lived through that era and they were like, man, this is good. And I think we're about to step into our version of that here if you are positioned correctly. Okay, if you're not positioned correctly, like I don't know what's going to happen with all these tariffs and people who import products.
You just got to stack your odds, right? People always ask me, hey, Brendan, how do I double my business? Are you stacking like all the odds in your favor? Are you increasing your multiplier and your chances of success in sales and operations and client retention and marketing and AI and like software and automation? Are you increasing that by 5, 10, 20, 50%? And if you are, if you just stack all that, your reputation's going from a B to a A minus, your quality is going from a B plus to an A minus. That's how you become a 7-figure business. You just literally across the board, you look at like the mom and pops that don't succeed, right? You can like when you look at them, there's a scorecard, right? There's their reviews, aka their reputation. There's the initial impression, like the design and the vibe. There's the actual quality of service. And like, I can tell you most of the mom and pops that never make it past 7 figures or even high 6 figures is because you give them the report card and it's like out of 100, it's like 71, 83, 65. And like, you look at the 7-figure companies and the ones that are doing 8, 9 figures and even billion-dollar companies, right? 95, 89. 97. It's just high stats across the board. And if you stack your stats and you stack your odds and you implement the strategies and the tactics that help you preserve help you accumulate this long-term value and opportunity, it's inevitable that you double your business.
Yeah. Well, so let me come back a little bit to like this whole like Apex operations thing because we're kind of talking about that. So far in the last 4 months, we've built just a little over 50K as a brand new company, which is cool. I think this year we'll probably end somewhere around $250,000 realistically with our pipeline and everything that we have. But the thing is that, guys, like for me, what Apex Operations actually, if you look at the logo, it's an AO, and I had actually paid like $500 for somebody to make the logo, and because I was just gonna do like AnthonyOlvera.com, just photo video, and then I was like, wait, I fucking hate people thinking that I'm going to do the service because I don't want to continue doing the service. And I went to ChatGPT. I was like, give me the name of an agency that starts with the A and then starts with the O. And it's like Apex Operations. I was like, great. That's it.
Good name.
I think it'll be good because it's funny that everybody who we're selling marketing to is also buying Outsource Plug. Everybody.
Yeah.
But coming back to like what happened was, here's what's really interesting. Outsource Plug has been more on track more than it's ever been. And when I started working on other people's problems versus like my own problems, it started doing something for me mentally. And like I was like, oh, well, I'm going to do this for the website. Oh, maybe I should do it for my own website. Oh, I'm going to do this for their photo, this for their video. I'm going to do that. Like, maybe I should do it for myself. And now, like, our new website, probably by the time you guys are watching this, the Outsource Plug website's going to like be already out. And guys, I'll tell you, it's never. The website has never been stronger. We're going to rank on Google. We're likely going to start generating a lot of new leads organically from Google because the way that we're building it. We're doing their SEO like this. Why don't I do this for our SEO? Like, I'm just like copying everything, and it reminds me of like something that Alex Hormozy said. Alex Hormozy said you should always have 1 or 2 clients that are just like unscalable. You should always have that. And it's not about the money for them. It's more about like the learning and the opportunity. How many more solutions can you solve? Like how big of a problem can you solve for them? And then can you package those problems and scale, those problems at once, right? It's something along those lines. And I'm seeing it like happen, right? Because, I kept the job because I never needed the job. We make enough money at Outsource Plug. I can pay myself well. But the job sucked for me because I was working, during business hours, but I knew like something was going to come out of it. And now, I think it's going to be a good little spin-off little cash cow company. And I think what's going to be cool is that we're going to be able to expand Apex operations through Brendan's ACRE partner. And how we're going to do that is pretty much we can sell now websites to companies in any market where there's an ACRE partner, and we can create like a win-win media package where ACRE partner companies can now like on their downtime go shoot for Apex operations clients, and you don't even have to edit it. You just upload it, and you get to work with cool clients.
Exactly.
So,
yeah, I mean, when it comes to partnerships, I think that's something that I love to explore that conversation, because I know you and I have talked about different partnership opportunities just within where we can take Outsource Plug and where we can, most importantly, with a partnership, offer value to the other partner. Yeah, so I wanted to break down partnerships because that's something that I think is a great topic for anyone who's looking to rapidly grow their business. Some of the best partnerships that I've had with Aerial Canvas, with Market U, they've brought in multiple 6-figure months, even close to 7-figure months just from those partnerships alone. And so we discussed the strategy for Outsource Plug and ACRE Partner, how we're going to evolve this partnership to bring more value to the clients that we serve.
Yeah.
What does that look like? And then in terms of like a version 2 of the strategy, how are we going to take this strategy and expand upon it?
Yeah, so I think the first one is the theme you've been talking about, right? The grass is greener where you water it. And, we're going to leverage a lot of the training that is already happening at ACRE Partner. You made a really valid point. We actually had like a client today that was upset, but know that this client is like, they're newer to really entrepreneurship. They're not really a business owner yet. They are really good at photography, really good at video, and they've grown to a point where they're making so much money because they're good at their craft, but they're not necessarily good at business yet. They don't know how to manage people. They don't have like that whole background, and you can tell when you're working with them. And we can choose to say that we don't work with people like that, or we can choose to say that's what ACRE Partner's for, and it's supposed to be to develop those type of people to help them live the life of their dreams through their business, through their art. So we're going to be leveraging a lot of the training that's happening and start doing pre-training with our virtual assistants for this like very niche specific industry, right? Because the chances that you're going to find really good talent that already knows everything about the real estate media industry, like a really niche industry, is not very high. But the chances that we're going to find really good people that if we spend a couple days, a week, depending on the position, training them, it's going to really enhance our chances of retention over time. Yeah. So that's step number 1 is being extremely intentional about making sure that like, hey, when you are working in this industry, here's what you need to understand. Oh, and also understanding American entrepreneurs. American entrepreneurs are different, right? You go like here in Colombia, everywhere you go to eat, it's like 30-minute hour wait for your freaking food. Like it's just normal. And that's not American. right? And we're hiring people in Colombia, we're hiring people in the Philippines, we're hiring people from completely different cultures that don't really understand the psychology of American entrepreneurs. Like we're freaking cyborgs. Like this thing, I've been looking at my phone, I've been wanting to grab my phone since we've been sitting down here, and we're like completely addicted to these freaking things. And that's something that like virtual assistants, they don't know. Virtual assistants also, naturally don't know that like if you don't respond back within a minute or two, like your client or the entrepreneur is going to go crazy. No, and that's serious, right?
And there's two parts to that, really. And I'm on the other side as well, because obviously I want what's best for my clients who are business owners, entrepreneurs. Like I want them to have a great, result. But at the same time, part of creating a great result is taming expectations and managing expectations and saying, hey, are you willing to onboard and train this person? They're going to need 2 to 4 weeks to ramp up. Are you willing to commit at least 10 hours a week to get them the training that they need? If not, we as an agency should give them the disclaimer, hey, you will see very volatile or mixed results if you're not willing to do this.
Yeah.
That should be part of our checklist. Do you have structured trainings and onboardings? No? Okay. Hey, ACRE, your consultants will need to know about this hire. It's going to be requiring more time and effort from their end. So you might need to allocate maybe resources for Adrian or Jenna to ramp up your editor or not editor, but your VA or whatever role.
Whatever position you hire for.
So, just setting that expectation, because I've actually met some amazing businesses, some of the best sales organizations. And when I say best, the minimum that you have to make to work with these organizations is $100K a month. If you don't make that much, you're not even qualified to work with them.
Yeah.
Right. And so these sales organizations, this leader who presented to us at this mastermind and that cost $5K a month to be part of, he said, hey, we are one of the best sales organizations, but we face the same challenges that every sales organization faces. There's sometimes people that don't show up as they should. There's sometimes KPIs that aren't met. There's sometimes workflows that need to be changed. There's sometimes offers that need to be restructured. And we face all of those problems. But the difference between us and those other companies is how fast we're able to solve those problems and overcome those challenges. But just so you know, we run a human-based organization, and we see the same problems as every sales organization you probably worked with also see. But just know we're here to work through it with you, and we're going to work through it faster than any other company.
Amazing. Very strong message.
Yeah.
Can I take that? Can I steal that?
You should, as long as you honor it.
Yeah, that's no, I mean, take it and still like not like I'm going to say it, but do it, right? So that's pretty powerful, especially because I feel like I'm a pretty good problem solver for the most part, and I think this Medellín coming and visiting this place has been taking me out of like my normal day to day and helping me look at things from an outside perspective, right? So we met some killers out here. I introduced Anthony to some of the kingpins of the BPO industry out in Latin America. On side note, Brendan's part of like this group called like the Entre House or something like that, the Entrepreneur House. Yep. Yeah, which that I had a lot of reality checks since I've been here, and number one was like before we go into the other BPO thing, Brendan invited me to go do like saunas and ice baths, and I went, and one of the things that was crazy was like I was like the most out of shape, fattest one. Like I was like so out of shape where I'm like, wow, like maybe like business wise I'm at the caliber of some of these people, but like physically, I feel like I'm fucking failing. But it pissed me off so much where I was like, okay, dude, no, I'm literally going to go back to the Bay Area and fix this shit. So the next time I come back, I want to be slinging my fucking 6-pack. I probably won't get a 6-pack in 6 months, but I don't want to feel like the fattest dude in the room anymore, right? And that, I mean, more than like I connected with some cool entrepreneurs and we talked business, but more than anything, I was like motivated to not be a fat shit anymore. So that's something that happened. But fast forwarding to the other event, up to this point, I had never really met anybody who was in my business. Outsource plug. Like there's,
You had two ex-employees trying to slang the same stuff.
Yeah.
And an ex-client, but.
yeah, no, exactly. Yeah. I mean, we had, I had a disgruntled family member who, just went and started his own thing. I don't know how he's doing. Don't really care. We're bigger anyway. And also there was a ex-client who tried to start his own thing, but everybody who reaches out to me about him says he's a sleazeball. And, and that's not my words. But, coming to here, I met some amazing BPO owners, and I had never. You introduced me to this group of BPO owners where I was like, dude, I can't believe you guys are telling me everything you're telling me.
That's the mastermind for you.
Which was crazy to me because I was like, it made me want to I've actually been giving back just as much value as I've been getting, but I didn't even know that something like that existed anywhere. And coming here, that was probably like. Man, there was so many really good things that happened here, but that was like one of the best. Jen, who owns like Hava Force, we're definitely going to become like a reseller for them. So we have a lot of demand for Latin talent, and they're very far ahead of us when it comes to Latin talent. Whereas us, our main niche is in the Philippines. We do some Latin America and mainly the Philippines. So now we have a really good partner for that. And I met her and her husband Jay, and man, they're like amazing. They're just amazing people. Brought me to their office, took me out to eat. I met their kids. They're, giving me the lowdown of Medellín. And on top of that, we're just going back and forth with trade ideas, which it was insane because, again, it's been over 6 years since we've been doing this. And I've never met anybody like that. And then the people who we have kind of casually ran into, they keep their secrets to their chest. Right.
Yeah.
So that's been really cool, and I still need to meet with some of these people. But that night that we had the dinner, man, our little corner was cracking.
That's the premise of for those who aren't part of masterminds, dude. Imagine meeting 10, 20, 50 other people as successful as you, sharing every lesson that they've learned freely, so you can shortcut your success. Is that not worth it to? You're not essentially cloning yourself, but you're getting 50 alternate versions of you that you can mastermind with and break through problems around, and actually just steal their homework oftentimes because they've spent 3 months, a year, 50K, 300K to learn some of these lessons or figure out some of these strategies that are working for them, and you can just grab it and go.
Well, I think one of the things that it also opened my eyes to was how much of a competitive advantage I have, me being in Silicon Valley. That's where I live. And it was an awakening knowing that, I'm sitting in Silicon Valley, not doing every single thing that I can to scratch and claw away at the market, because our biggest and best relationships happen from personal relationships or people that we know or met in person, right? And it's I have now I know even more than ever that I have the opportunity to literally go knock down doors, take people out to eat, go golf, create really deep, meaningful relationships with our next clients that are going to push us to 10 figures.
And we can plug Neil.
8 figures.
And we can plug Josh and Neil work for these, 5, 20, 50 people contracts.
Correct. Yeah. And that guy was great. And I'm dude, your ideal client is literally in my backyard, and Outsource Plug does not have the means to serve those clients. So I've never tried to go after them, but I know that they're there. But now it's dude, you know how easy it would be for me to start selling to all the Y Combinator people. It's so easy to access VCs for me. I can literally if I wanted to go to VCs and go into offices or get introduced to people who I have through my network, I can do it. I just haven't because I didn't have anything to sell. Now it's I came here and I have a whole nother arsenal, right, of people that I know, and now I feel I can trust. So yeah, man, I'm not going to waste that Silicon Valley opportunity. Dude, we pay so much in rent. I could have a penthouse in Medellín for the same amount of rent that I pay in the Bay Area. So, and my Bay Area apartment is not very special. There's no view. So I'll tell you, man, this trip has been extremely eye-opening. Okay. And I haven't even, there's other things that I haven't even touched on yet, man, that coming out here, I'm learning so much about myself, more than I thought that I could. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, as we work to wrap up this episode, What have you learned, I guess, in the last couple of years in your entrepreneur's journey that you want to pass forth to the other business owners and entrepreneurs that are listening? Like, what is an important lesson that people should take away?
That no matter your circumstances, where you come from, you need to always have hope, and you need to always just remember to stay clear on like what the end goal actually is. And I think it's really important to have like a main goal and be clear like what you want to accomplish. I personally have never been like the type to like plan out my day hour by hour or anything like that. I just know where I'm going, and we got to get there. And I think like a lot of newer entrepreneurs too, especially like those of you who went to college, those of you who are like very like much planners, I think that you let that get in your way because you know there's a saying, you know how to make God laugh. Tell them your plans, right? So, and you know, we live in, we choose to be in a very a very fucked up industry. Like entrepreneurship is fucked. It's fucking traumatic. Yeah. And if things are not going to go the way that they are in your mind, they're just not. Never, ever are they going to go the way in your mind. Like not on a day to day or a week to week or even year to year. But if you just know where you're going, eventually you'll get there.
I love that.
Eventually. Yeah.
We actually teach around that philosophy of what's your North Star? Like, where do you want to be in 6 months? Where do you want to be in 2 years? And make decisions around that, right? If your goal is to be an agency owner that has a team of 10 that is doing a, 7-figure revenue as well as being able to work 20 hours a week, every decision you make should be getting you closer to that North Star. So if you're wondering, hey, should I hire this person? Can I afford them? I can tell you, you better be able to afford them if you want to get closer to your North Star. So do everything you can to get closer to your North Star, right? Like as soon as you can afford to hire someone that gets you closer to that 10-person dream team, as soon as you can invest in, let's just say a mastermind like the one we have, or some sort of business coaching, or bringing on an A player that's going to be the equivalent of a coach within your business to coach you and take the team along, that can get you to your North Star, right? And every decision that you make, if you're not sure, just look at your North Star, and it should be really easy to be able to make that decision. Is this getting me closer or further away, right? For me, I want to be working 20 hours a week. Again, I've achieved that several times over. But right now, I'm wearing so many hats. I'm working 4 people's roles within ACRE Partner and some of the positions I hold at different companies. And I want to be back at 20 hours a week. And so when I look at an expensive hire, like Josh or Jacob, one of my talent acquisition specialists, is asking me, hey, can you afford $80,000? I'm like, fuck yeah, I can afford $80,000. It's going to get me way closer to my goal. I have the money, obviously, it's just like, do I want to keep it in my pocket short term and work more, or do I want to spend it and get closer to my North Star?
Right. Exactly. Yeah. No, that's a really good point.
Yeah. It's an easy way to make decisions, big decisions. Like, is it getting you closer to your dream outcome or further away?
Yeah.
And your dream outcome, it's, everyone's dream outcome is to be a millionaire, right? To have multiple millions of dollars in the bank. Hey, I'm just going to tell it to you straight. You got to spend money to make money. If you're not willing to spend money, you got no chance of making more money, right? There's only so many hours that you can trade your time for. There's only so much you can do physically and mentally in a day, on top of all your other commitments. So you have to leverage your capital. You have to put your money to work for you. And then you have to increase your hourly as fast as possible by learning new skills. Yeah. Let me ask you, if you're watching this episode, when's the last time you've actually taken the time to really invest in your skills? Not just watch a podcast here and there, but actually intentionally I commit to masterminds. I commit to accelerators and programs personally multiple times a year to get further along in my entrepreneur journey, because as someone as advanced as me, dude, I still don't know shit about running ads. I just started scratching the surface, though they're going pretty well. I kind of know how to do a funnel and a webinar, but I'm still just scratching the surface. So There's so much that I want to unpack still, and I love what you said. Like, you gotta know where you're going. You gotta be able to see that.
Yeah, and just fight every fucking day to be there, right? Yeah, dude, your emotions are gonna get in the way. Life is gonna get in the way. Health, dude, finances, the government. There's so many different things that are gonna get in your way, but just don't stop. Don't fucking stop. Because then one day you'll be here with us, hanging out in this fucking penthouse, baby. Let's go.
Don't stop, boogie, boogie. Whatever song. We still don't know that song, right?
That was a good podcast, bro.
All right.